Welcome to the It's in Queens podcast. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and this is the only podcast that focuses on my borough of Queens. This podcast comes to you each week thanks to the Queens Tourism Council and the Queens Economic Development Corporation. Together, they present Queens as a destination with something for everyone, whether you live here, you work here, or you just want to visit. This week, we're going to dive into one of the borough's most dynamic neighborhoods, Long Island City. Known for its stunning views of Manhattan, Long Island City has truly transformed over the decades from an industrial hub into a thriving cultural hotspot. With waterfront parks and cutting-edge art galleries and a rapidly growing food scene, which I know well, Long Island City is an essential stop for anyone looking to experience the unique energy of Queens. Beyond its scenic beauty, Long Island City boasts an eclectic mix of shops, cafes, and eateries that reflect the neighborhood's rich diversity. One of Long Island City's standout attractions is MoMAPS1, a museum that's artist-centered and community-driven. Embracing boundary-breaking ideas and experimental practices, MoMAPS1 is a place where audiences can engage with new art and fresh perspectives. For nearly 50 years, it has been a platform for artists to express their visions and connect with audiences, all while pushing the boundaries of creative expression. Opening this week at MoMAPS1 is an inspiring exhibition titled The Fortune Society Future Freedoms. This is the second exhibition at the venue by the Long Island City-based nonprofit. The Fortune Society supports successful reentry from incarceration and promotes alternatives to traditional punitive systems. The exhibition is located in the Homeroom Gallery, and it showcases works created during the artist's residency at MoMAPS1. Future Freedoms includes self-portraits, garments, poetry, pennants, sculptures, audio recordings, a billboard, and a music video, all culminating from a 4-year collaboration between the nonprofit and artists Jenny Pollock and Laura Serran-Millo and the Creatives Rebuild New York initiative. This exhibition confronts the aftermath of incarceration and envisions a more just future through the transformative power of art. So in this week's episode, I introduce you to two of the artists featured in Future Freedoms, Maria Wright and Isis Richardson. We recently spoke and they shared their creative processes and about what this exhibition means to them. Mario and Isis, welcome to the It's in Queens podcast.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
So lots of questions. I'm going to go back and forth between the two of you because this is a very exciting endeavor. Your artwork is going to be on display coming up this week, starting on the 14th. So let's find out more about you. Isis, I'm going to start with you. Growing up, were there specific moments or influences that shaped your creative expression and led you to pursue art?
There were several moments, but I think the defining moment for me was my earliest memory of making anything creative. I was making a homemade letter for my mom just to tell her that I love her. And naturally, I decorated it with doodles, including little hearts, except I didn't quite know how to draw a heart. It was kind of just like a half shape and like it didn't really complete with the point at the bottom. And she came and pointed it out to me and told me, this isn't how you draw it. And she kind of corrected me. And since then, I've made it a point to be very accurate with what I do as far as art goes. And that kind of influenced my style, which I consider to be realism. And there are other moments like doing drawing contests with my families, which eventually evolved into paint and sips, and being able to see how they interpret different themes and prompts that we do and see their vision and their version of art. It also influences my style as well.
So Isis, can you just tell me a little more about what art means to you and how it plays a role in expressing your personal journey?
Art to me is a love language, so it's everything. My forte is drawing portraits, and I especially enjoy seeing how I've improved over time and how I especially enjoy seeing how I improved over time, and when I draw portraits of other people, seeing their responses just encourage me to keep going. There are times during
You're getting, I'm hearing a lot of other voices. There's someone else in the room with you? Is that what I'm hearing?
Not with me. Mario's face keeps
Oh,
showing up.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, wait. Oh, Mario, just me for. Okay, let's just ask that question again. Here we go. Isis, could you share what your art means to you, how it plays a role in expressing your personal journey?
Art is my love language, so it's everything to me. My forte is drawing portraits, and I especially enjoy seeing how I improve over time. And when I draw portraits of other people, seeing their responses just encourage me to keep going. And there are times during a project where I think, what have I gotten myself into? Or I can't do this. But as I see it through, it all comes together, and I wonder why I ever worried in the first place.
And Mario, let's bring you into the conversation. I'd love to know a little about your background, where you grew up, and also how your environment, your experience has influenced your artistic voice.
Uh, Growing up, for me, I was in and out of institutions, and they weren't art institutions. It was foster care system to jails. And yeah, so I was more so exposed to a world of hardship and systemic failures. In my community, we lack the resources, and my along with my own poor choices that only fueled a cycle that would keep going like that. And then I discovered art, something positive, which is something that I always wanted and to do better for my community. But I think for me, what what birthed my art was the challenging environment. I think luckily it shaped my artistic voice, allowing me to express my experiences and emotions through art.
And I'd love for you to elaborate on that because I'm curious what role art has played in your life, particularly as a means of exploring or redefining your identity.
Yeah, so uh, I would say it became a lifeline. Like I said, to do something more positive, a tool to learn, uh, able to put things into perspective and use my voice to challenge societal perceptions. And just, yeah, all around positive outlet, network that, you know, I wasn't used to in my community. It gave me a sense of purpose, uh, yeah, and inspired me to share my story.
So this exhibition, which is opening this week, and there's going to be a big event this coming Saturday on the 16th. But I'd love for you to tell me, we'll start with you, Isis, what inspired you to want to participate in the Future Freedoms exhibition and what you hope anyone like me who steps in to see this work, what you hope we take away from seeing your work.
Um, I am a member of Fortune Society and I participate in the weekly art classes there. And I was invited to do the sewing portion of the Future Freedoms exhibit. And when people come to the exhibit, I would like for them to leave with um, an understanding of what life is like for people who have been impacted by the justice system. Um, and what happens afterwards, because it doesn't just stop when you leave or when you're released. I want to give viewers a taste of reality of the hardships outside of the scope of their own world view of the world, as well as to reduce the stigma surrounding people who have been incarcerated.
And Mario, would love for you to talk about what drew you to want to participate in this exhibition and how you feel it represents the experiences of people who've been impacted by the justice system.
So I'm the creatives art coordinator at the Fortune Society. So I help lead community through art. And I think the Future Freedoms expedition just resonates with my own experiences and aligns with the services we provide. Our opportunity, self-expression, and advocating through art.
I'm curious, Mario, when you step into that room, when you step into PS1 and you see your artwork displayed there, how impactful of a moment is that going to be for you? What will go through your mind at that time?
Uh, so it's a chance and it gives us hope. I think Isis kind of said it, but it's like of you know, how we really see the future, given given, people that don't know about the things that go on in our communities, our side of the story through art. And art is, the way into someone's heart, the way into someone's mind. So it's a way. And yeah, so that's pretty much, like, I feel like it's definitely an opportunity to be grateful, but it's a chance to, you know, tell our story, to show, the world and people that don't know, what's really going on, honestly. It's just a lot of stereotypes and things that surround, the systems in, this country. And, the people that don't usually have a voice, you don't hear us. So now you get to hear us, see it, see it through beautiful art.
And Isis, I want to pose the same question to you. What it's going to be like that moment when you step into PS1 and you see your artwork on display? What's going to go through your mind?
I really like the only thing that I can think of is just like screaming, like just joy, just happiness. Like, this opportunity has been a dream of mine since childhood. Like I've always wanted to be in a museum, like just to have my room would be decorated with just art. But in this sense, it's not just art on a wall. It's something that can be born. It's something that you can listen to, you could feel, you could touch. It's well, I don't know if you can touch it. It's in the museum, but but I'm just really excited because I felt like the universe is conspiring in my favor. Like so many things had to happen in order for me to get to this space and this time to be able to participate in this exhibit. And I'm just so excited to see it come to fruition. Everybody had a hand to play in it, and I'm just really excited to see where it goes.
And Isis, just let our listeners know a little about your piece of art that's going to be on display. Is there a name for it? Talk a little about the exact piece of art.
Well, primarily I've been working on the sewing portion of the exhibit, and we just call it like the shredding your problems part. So basically what we did was we gathered all these bureaucratic documents, things that we felt were like holding us back, things like hospital documents, housing vouchers, denials for disability, just things that we wanted to get rid of and transform it into something else. So we took those documents and we shredded them. And the goal for those shreddings were to put them into garments that we've designed in a puffer style. So we've got this puffer collection going on. Do you want me to go into details about what I made, or should I leave it at that?
Well, just on yours, because I want everyone to, I don't want to reveal everything that's going to be there. I want people to show up, but I'll go back over to Mario, just to talk a little about your specific piece of art that's going to be on display.
Okay, we created a story through a music video. It's me and it's everybody that you see in the video, from the producer to the videographer, from the artist. It's, all around that community, and it tells a story of the communities we come from, and, leading into prison, and the transformative power of, trying to, come out and do something better, so it tells the whole story, almost like the school to prison pipeline story. And yeah, it's the basics. Music video will be displayed on screen. And I did my poetry in the video.
It sounds like a very insightful and inspiring exhibition. Mario and Isis, I want to thank you so much for appearing here on the It's in Queens podcast. MoMA PS1 is located at 22-25 Jackson Avenue, and it's open Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays from noon to 6 p.m., and on Saturdays from noon to 8 p.m. It's also closed on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. And while admission is very affordable, only $10 for adults, it is free for New Yorkers, thanks to the Horace W. Goldsmith Foundation. Now, if you're looking for something else to do this month or any month, we always have you covered here on the It's in Queens podcast. That is where Rob Mackay comes in. He is with the Queens Tourism Council and the Queens Economic Development Corporation. And each and every week, he brings us details on some of the more exciting events that are happening in Queens. Here's this week's report.
Hola, jefe. ¿Cómo estás? Espero que estés bien. Okay, please excuse the blatant bilingualism, but Thalia Spanish Theater is going to launch Christmas in Colombia on November 15th. I'm not sure if you know of Harold Puente, who comes from Cali, Colombia, which some consider to be the salsa capital of the world, but he runs the Mestizo Arts Center in Elmhurst, and they perform basically Colombian song and dance all over the place. In this case, they're joining forces with Maria Escobar, who is not related to Pablo Escobar, in fact, and she is a very accomplished singer from Colombia, and they're going to perform folkloric holiday traditions with music and dance and anything else. The show runs for a full month until December 15th, with performances on Fridays and Saturdays at 8 and Sundays at 4 p.m. It's a good way. We all love to celebrate Christmas. We all do it our own way. This is a way to check out, see how you do it in Colombia. And just in case you're wondering, Thalia Spanish Theater is on Greenpoint Avenue in Sunnyside. All right, thanks, jefe. Nos vemos prontísimo. Okay, bye.
That's just a few of the things that are happening in our borough. And remember, the place to go to discover everything that's on the horizon is so easy to remember. It's at the It's in Queens website, and that website address is itsinqueens.com. And if you're interested in more business news, how to help your business or friends, well then head right over to the Queens Economic Development Corporation's website at queensny.org. And when you're there, sign up for their newsletter. When you visit any place in Queens, including MoMAPS1, snap some photos and share them with us. Make sure to use the hashtag #It'sInQueens when you post on Instagram or X, because your photo could become our photo of the week. I'm your host, Jeff Simmons, and that's it for the It's in Queens podcast this week.